All right, what's up, world? We're back with yet another episode. Episode 13 now, right? 13.
Yep.
13. I want to say,
Sure.
I want to say thank you all for downloading. I think we finally reached over 500 downloads, which is actually like a major milestone for us.
Yeah.
So that's big.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for hitting those links on Snapchat. Thanks for hitting those links on Spot or on Twitter and Instagram. All of that stuff is important, and just keep on hitting those links for us and keep on downloading. And obviously, if you're listening on YouTube or watching on YouTube, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. We haven't really talked about anything outside of league report stuff for the last couple of days because we've been so busy with school. So I mean, is there anything y'all want to say before we get into these topics to kind of break the ice a little? I know Carl, one of Carl's guys is dropping an album a little bit later tonight. So
I just want to say one thing. You know, we had 126 subscribers on YouTube. Mm-hmm. So if you all can, I'm not saying I don't want it to be an overnight thing, but if you can get us to 200.
We would love that.
I might buy y'all some t-shirts or something. I'm just playing. Nah, but just get us to 200.
Yeah.
We appreciate it. But other than that, like Ty said, I don't know if you all know who Baby Keem is, but he's coming out with an album. He's Kendrick Lamar's cousin. Mm-hmm. So, Kendrick go be on that,
Yeah. They dropped, you look at Baby Keem had a crazy last couple of weeks, right? I mean, he was on the Kanye album. He was on, he had the single with Kendrick. And Carl literally put me on the Baby Keem like I keep saying last year.
It was 2019.
Yeah, he was like
2019 going to 2020.
Yep, and it was right. I think it was right around December, and then he sent me the album, which I can't say the name out loud right now, but he sent me the album. It was fire. So I'm expecting a lot from him. I think he's fire, and I don't know if y'all really. People have had to have heard about Baby Keem because he's been in the news.
Yeah, they should have.
I'm gonna warn everybody though. It's not for everybody. He has like a certain voice that might be annoying to some people, but not to others.
Yeah.
So I can understand it if you don't like him.
You definitely can hear the Kendrick influence in there for sure. I think, I'm excited to see what he's able to do. I think right now, I'm gonna ask you guys this. What's the album to beat? If we're talking number one album, regardless of genre, mine is Call Me If You Get Lost by Tyler.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that, Carl?
Yeah. I'm not even a Tyler fan for us. No, I ain't gonna say. Yeah. But he I wouldn't say I'm not a Tyler fan. I just never really paid attention to his music like that. Like first song I heard about Tyler was Trouble on My Mind with Pusha T. I don't know if you ever heard that song. Mm-hmm. And it's another one, Yonkers. Yonkers was the first one. That's the first time I actually started liking
it. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, they came out like middle school or whatever. But other than that video is very graphic.
That Yonkers, that song starts out kind of.
Yeah. Starts off a little
rough. But anyway, that album is the album to beat to me. I think that's the one. That's the album number one, and then two. I don't even know for real because
you gonna give Cole some love at two?
That album came and went.
That album got boring to me.
Yeah, that album came and went.
I think his timing was just kind of off. You know what I mean? Like I was kind of
it was wrong. Yeah. Why would you come out with an album? What was it?
It was May. It was May because I remember it came out like the last day of school, actually. Last day of
college. That's too early, bro. You got to come out with your albums in the middle of the summer or the beginning. Or the end.
Yeah.
Factual.
Yeah.
You don't do it at the start because people gonna be bumping all through the summer. It's gonna get old.
Yeah. But Tyler's album came out beginning of the summer too. But I guess it was just a better project.
It was a better album, but.
Not saying J. Cole's album was bad.
No, it was. I still listen to Offseason for sure. I listen to Offseason today.
You talking about Hill Shade? No,
Carl's not the biggest Cole fan out there, man.
I just think his him and Kendrick used to be tied, and I think Kendrick is like way up here now. That's just me.
Yeah.
Ever since he dropped Forest Hill Drive, I wasn't tied like 4 Hours Only. I'm not crazy about it. I thought it was a letdown, but I didn't really care for KOD. I thought it was just okay too. So I don't know. Yeah, I'm comparing him to Kendrick. That's probably what I should be doing.
Yeah. When you
call it how it is, Ty. He's a hater.
That first night, that night when it came out, he was.
I was just playing.
No, you weren't.
I was messing with you. I was saying, by the way, it was trash. It was the worst album I heard in my life. I was playing.
But even so, like, let's be like, I remember just those first night reactions always are horrible. Like, some are not going to change. Like, I would. If we want to get into it, like the COD, we're not getting into it. But your first reaction,
go ahead.
Nah, But I remember saying Whole Lot of Red was like garbage. Remember what I said? Whole Lot of Red was the worst album I've ever heard in my life. That first night.
Yeah, but it was though.
And then it grew on me. It grew on me big time. So,
me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
So my opinion on CLB isn't changing though. I think.
What's Todd? Tell the people home what's your opinion on that Drake album?
Yeah.
I thought CLB was a boring album. I thought it was very. I just want to. My question is, what do I get from that album? That's my biggest question.
You don't never get
exactly.
Music. You don't never get great music.
What'd you say, Blake?
I said you just get vibes from it.
I got no vibes from it, bro. I got no vibes.
I know one song you should have got something from.
No.
Way too sexy is just not doing it for me, bro.
That's a great song.
That song I like. I like it.
Nah.
I can see why you don't like it though.
If we're stacking that song up against Drake's biggest hits, that's probably low. That's probably the lowest. Even this album, like I talked to Robert about this last night. We're gonna get into basketball in a second, but when you stack, like, what album is CLB better than? Like, what? And what did Rob? Did he say it was his best? I mean, he was kind of like, oh, I guess so. But you know, when I say this is Drake's worst album, then just tell me what album.
Really?
Then tell me what album this is better than.
Scorpion.
No, Scorpion was much better. I mean, that's just my opinion. Scorpion is much better music.
Yeah, I didn't even, to be honest, bro. I didn't like Scorpion. I didn't like this one. I didn't like, what was the one before Scorpion?
More Life.
More Life was cool, but it's basically after Nothing Was Ever the Same. Was that the album? That was the name of that?
That's Started From the Bottom.
Yeah, everything after that is like on the decline of just being.
You didn't like Views?
Nah, it was okay.
That's the thing with Drake.
That's the thing. They're not bad. They're just okay. They're not nothing. Not like go back and listen to them like, yeah. It's like,
Yeah, I just don't know. What's Drake's last transcendent album is my question, and you can't see that.
Only last one I like that he dropped the last 5 years is what's the one? Six God. That was a mixtape. Yeah. I like that.
But is Views transcendent though?
No.
Yeah, that's my.
I mean, it's good music. It's great.
Bro,
music.
Young Thug had better albums than him over the last 5 years.
He has. Young Thug. This upcoming album is gonna be the best album of the year.
Yeah, we should talk about Young Thug transition him before we start getting to
the pig tape.
You all know me. I'm not. No, that's Lil Uzi. We ain't talking about him.
No, we talking about the pig tape.
Y'all know me. I'm not even the biggest. I've never really mentioned Young Thug. I've never been like the biggest Young Thug fan. For me to say I think his album is going to be up there as one, that's saying something.
It is saying something.
Them previews, bro, that I heard, I never heard him rap like that in my life.
That Tiny Desk was fire. That was fire. I'm excited for that. I'm excited to see what Keem does tonight. I'm also excited to see if Travis drops Utopia. That ends up happening. I doubt it though. Yeah. I doubt it.
They talking about tonight?
No, I said Keem's out tonight. I'm just talking about in general.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Travis.
What about I feel like Maxo. I know you all don't listen. I listen to Maxo Cream. I've been listening to him freshman year. What about Maxo Cream?
Hard.
You gonna give it a listen?
I give it a listen. I like that Tyler song a lot. That Tyler song is fire.
Yeah, he got a song with Travis Scott called Relays.
Yeah, he had a song with Uzi. That's how I first heard about him because he had a song with Uzi.
Are you talking about the Uzi song named Mars?
Yeah, Mars. Yeah. Yeah, good. We've had a great year in music though. I don't think we look back at. We had Kanye and Drake in back-to-back weeks.
Yeah, now we did. At first, the year was terrible.
Yeah, you got off the best start. Yeah. There's more. There. You like I said, we don't know.
Meek dropping too. Meek Mill
dropping. Uzi May, Young Thug May.
Don Toliver.
Yeah, Don Toliver. Yeah.
So
YSL.
Kendrick register some songs in?
Yeah, he started too. So it's probably going to be either right after January or before. So
it's not dropping. It's not dropping this year.
Bro, it is. He said it is.
We'll see what happens.
But for real though, Don Toliver, this is another person we talk about. Don Toliver, us three
great artists.
Like one of the first. We would have like the first people really like to put that album on, might not put on the map, but we kind of just realized how beautiful of an album. That's a beautiful album.
Heaven and Hell?
Bro, yes. I still listen to it.
But I didn't realize it was him on Astroworld till Ty put me on that situation.
Yeah, Ty put his on.
Yeah, and I went back and listened. I was like, hey, that's hard.
Because I was all on Twitter during Astroworld. That whole little week before Astroworld, and they were leaking everything. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, people look behind Ty, you got an Astroworld album cover.
Big time.
He probably bought the merch too and a little head, everything.
He got the pants.
I got the jogger. That's all I got though. That's all I got. I got the joggers.
When you go bust them pants out, show the people what you got.
I may have to do them. It's getting a little chilly out, so I may have to do it a couple weeks. They're gonna be out there.
Yeah, we're with some I don't know. We're with something.
Figure something out. Yep. So yeah, can't wait for new music. I talked to you guys about this a little bit, but I remember just texting y'all and I was like, damn, I looked up and the NBA season starts in less than a month. Right now we're filming it September 9th. Preseason starts October the 3rd, I think. And you even think about training camp, that's just a couple of weeks from today. Everything's coming up on us real quick. Blake had a really good idea to just basically do team previews. We're just gonna be talking about teams for the upcoming season, talking about what they did last season during the off season and what we think they're going to be able to do for this coming season and all of that. And it's not really going by any order. We're just picking a bunch of random teams to talk about. We're not going from bad to good or whatever, just whatever teams I can throw in there, we're going to talk about them. Like I said, just basically those team previews. First team I want to get into is the Timberwolves. I don't know why they were one of the first teams to pop up in my mind, but really, really weird offseason for them because they were probably, you look at young teams like them, they're really weird because they have enough talent right now to be a solid team, but they act like they're a young team that's rebuilding. So I guess my question for you all is, what is the direction Minnesota is in? Like, what should be the direction Minnesota should take? Because if you look at their core of D'Angelo Russell, who is a guy who's been able to take teams to the playoffs, and he's got an all-star appearance. And I think he's shown the ability to be a mature point guard, a mature all-star level point guard. We have Karl Anthony Towns, who's been an all-star and is one of the more skilled bigs in the league. What do you think the direction is right now for Minnesota? Is it try to rebuild, or is it let's try to see what we can get from these guys or whatever?
I think you try to see what you can get from us. You got basically three all-stars on the team. Well, I won't say two, but you got Anthony Edwards, a decent supporting cast. You got Pat Beverly's there now. Mm-hmm. So at least try and see this season. I really don't understand why they've been so bad these past couple seasons. Like, they obviously have the talent. We've seen less talented teams. Example, Portland get to the playoffs and make a decent run. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if it's coaching upstairs, leadership, or I don't know.
No, it's definitely upstairs, bro. Because they done been through some coaches and everything. I think it's the owner, the general manager, that type of them people, or the president. One of the three. It's somebody. Because even Kevin Garnett himself, who played for the Timberwolves, how many years? Like 10 years, right?
I think somewhere around there, yeah.
10 to 11 years, he speaks vocally on how bad they handle building around them. Mm-hmm. Like, he felt like when they had Isaiah Ryder, remember him?
Yep.
When they couldn't beat the Lakers, granted, it was the Lakers, but they didn't give him the pieces he needed or even try to draft or trade nobody. But I can kind of understand, because who wants to come to Minnesota when you're in another better city with weather? But anyway, I think they're trying to head in the right direction because they got a veteran player in Patrick Beverly. So they're trying to get those veteran pieces maybe to kind of push them towards, I need veteran players with some young players on my team, because Karl Anthony Towns is technically a veteran player. He's been in the league like 5-6 years. Yeah. He's not that young, but yeah.
Yeah, and you mentioned it, right? Pat Bev is there to kind of be a locker room presence for this team. And you look at it on top of it, right? My confidence for Minnesota just went super low, because I remember that season where they got Jeff Teague and Andrew Wiggins, or Jeff Teague and Butler, to go along with Karl Anthony Towns and Andrew Wiggins, plus Taj Gibson, and Thibodeau was their head coach. And I remember being really, really hyped to see him play. And I remember thinking that team was going to probably be a second round team. And we ended up seeing them get to the playoffs and just absolutely suck. And on top of it, it was Jimmy Butler was having issues with, the guys there and their willingness to go out there and compete at a high level or whatever. And I think since then, that's when I was like, oh, they finally got it right. Because as Karl, you mentioned, they've been kind of a laughing stock for the last couple of years. When they finally made that Jimmy Butler thing happen, it was kind of like, oh, wow, this is, now we're.
Yeah, and then they barely made the playoffs with him.
Exactly.
Like, it came down to the last game of the season. Yes. I don't know if you remember this, against the Nuggets.
Yep.
Like, bro, you got Jimmy Butler, Karl-Anthony Towns, and who else today? They had somebody else on that team too.
Wiggins, Gibson.
I think Wiggins was
still Wiggins, Taj Gibson, bro. Like, you should at least be a 6 seed at the latest.
Yeah, there was a blend of defense on that team. I'm trying to think. Was Jamal Crawford there that year? Or am I
partially? I think he was there for the back end.
Was that 17, 18, or 18, 19?
That was 17, 18.
Yeah, he was there partially.
Yeah, he was there. He was there.
Bro, it made me so happy for them, bro. I don't know if you ever seen, I got a Wiggins jersey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And every time I seen the buy a jersey, somebody leaves the team. So I'm just stop buying jerseys.
Yeah.
I got the LeBron jersey like 3 years ago. He changed his number to 6 now again. So
yeah. He doesn't have much jersey luck. But yeah, no, I think that's where my disappointment with them really started. And like I said, you look at them now, they're just such a hard team to measure. They don't get any draft picks. You know what I'm saying? In this draft. And like I said, it just makes you wonder, you know, what direction is this team really, you know, moving towards? And are they, like, do you guys, if you look at it from a roster standpoint, like you talk about their starting five, like, you know, Russell, as I mentioned, Anthony Edwards, you know, I don't know if he's going to start, but Pat Bev just being a presence there, Karl-Anthony Towns, and all those guys. Do you think that, I mean, there's any chance? And I mean, you also look at the pieces they have, like Jared Vanderbilt showed a lot of potential as a good defensive, you know, rim running, power forward type of player, you know, or you can look at Jaden McDaniels, who showed a lot of promise on the defensive end. So on the bright side, there are a lot of good pieces here and there on this team, but like I said, it's just the uncertainty. What are you going to say, Blake?
You forgetting the legend himself, Malik Beasley.
Is he gonna? Well, he's out of jail.
I think he's still on. I know he has some issues, but
I think he's gonna play right now.
Yeah,
that he's a psycho. But I think he's gonna be playing this season.
Yeah, and when he is playing, he's very productive. Like he's a guy who can go give you 20 or more on a consistent.
Almost a 20-point per game score before he. Yeah,
exactly. So this team, their makeup and their core isn't just a hodgepodge of young guys who are projects, and their projects aren't like the projects are Jared Vanderbilt and Jaden McDaniel. Like when I think about projects on this team, those are the two guys I can think about right now. Maybe Naz Reid, you know, but even still, he's shown a lot of polished stuff as a good big who can pass it and knock down shots and all of that. What are you gonna say, Carl?
I was kind of wrong about Naz Reid because him coming out of
LSU.
LSU.
Where you go?
LSU.
I'm thinking of what's name. Never mind, my bad. I was thinking of the Nas that played at UNC and did one and done and went to Portland. My bad.
Talking about
Nasir Little.
Yeah, my bad.
Yeah, but no, yeah, I mean, like I said, there's so much there in Minnesota, but it's just you just don't know which way they're going into, and I think this could be a team. I mean, do you think they can? I don't want to, you know, fire off their head coach right now, but do you think this team is talented enough to just have that head coaching switch and then finally be in a position to be a solid team? Because like I said, in the West, you're not going to make the playoffs, but do you think for them, it just comes down to coaching? Because on their roster, I mean, they're not a perfect roster, but there are just a lot of great pieces there. So do you think it's a matter of just having a different head coach there? Like, do you think that's what the major difference is?
Yeah, I do.
It could be that or they're in the wrong conference.
True. Very
if they're in the East, bro, I just have a hard time believing they're not at least 8 seed.
That's very true. I mean, and also even so, you know, kind of bit off of that, their winning percentages wouldn't let them stack up against anybody, even in the Eastern Conference. But even last year too, I mean, you know, you got to look at D'Angelo Russell was kind of out for an extended period of time during the season. So who would have known what he would have been able to do, you know, if he was, you know, a little bit more present, everything in the roster. But I mean, I don't know if I can say I'm excited to watch him play, because there just wasn't anything done. There wasn't that major coaching change. There wasn't any major roster change. And this is a team that was getting a lot of talk as far as possibly going out and getting a Ben Simmons or getting another all-star caliber player to try to move into a different direction. And then just nothing happens. So I mentioned him to kind of just say it was a really weird offseason for them, for a really, really weird team with the core that doesn't suck and a bunch of young guys who just, you know, who don't have to, you know, we don't have to wait 5 years for their development or whatever. They're young guys that develop pretty well. Like Anthony Edwards, there are just some small things he can work on. I think, you know, he can continue to grow defensively. He can continue to grow as a facilitator. being kind of that 2-guard, 3 type of dude. He can continue to grow as far as efficiency goes.
Yeah.
But I mean, like I said, you just look at the roster makeup. This should be a team that should be pretty good. I don't know. I mean, like I said, I think for them, it just straight up comes down to the coaching that they have. I think that's what it is. There's been so much inconsistency from a head coaching standpoint the last couple of seasons. So, I mean, those are just my general thoughts on them, in the current direction they're in this season. Was there anything else you guys want to say about Minnesota? There are a couple other points I want to bring up. Was there anything else you guys want to mention about them?
Coaching change, really.
Yeah.
That's yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably coach. Who's their is what's name still the coach? Or no, they got another new coach.
It's another dude, but I keep forgetting his name. I think it's
he's the newer dude. I know that for sure.
Yeah.
He was assistant for somebody. But anyway, yeah, I just think
Chris Finch.
Yeah. I'm not sure if they're gonna. I don't know if I'm thinking too far ahead, because if you're not gonna get somewhere, it's like playoffs where you want to go. Are you gonna try to trade Cat or Anthony Towns?
There's always that.
It's like, bro, what's the point of keep having that talent on your team if you're not gonna go where you want to go and you just drafted Edwards,
yeah,
and you have D'Lo? Are you gonna trade D'Lo? Because D'Lo, to be honest, he's good. He's good enough to not be getting traded, but he's getting traded a lot. He's starting to become a trade piece.
And that's run his value down too, because I think people just look at him as, when people mention D'Angelo Russell's name, we kind of just look at him as a dude who's gone from team to team to team, and we forget the value that he provides as a guy who can score, who can facilitate it, and he's mature. Like, look at his rookie season and look at him now. Like, look at how his perception was then, and look how his leadership has developed since then. Like, you remember, he helped lead Brooklyn to a playoff series, and obviously they lost to a Sixers team in that first round, but he was an all-star. He was an all-star point guard who led a very lackluster lineup to the playoffs. I know the West is weak and all of that, but still, he has that on his resume. So, yeah, I mean, and as you mentioned, there were, like I said, we talked about it. There were a lot of different trade scenarios, a lot of different things mentioned, on that front. And as I said, just nothing happened at all. So it's confusing seeing what the front office did. It's confusing, like I said, it just adds on to their mysteriousness, and, whether or not they want to, you just don't know what they want to do, and do you think, it'd be really sad to see them have to go to this position where they just have to rebuild, because the hope was we draft Cat, and then we've seen Levine we saw Levine have to go, and we saw Wiggins have to go.
Bro,
that's
with the improvement you saw from Zach LaVine. Like, I don't think he gets enough credit. He should have been somewhere mixed in between most improved, like last year, not even just last season. I'm saying like 2 years ago. That's when you start seeing improvement. I don't think people realize when he went to the Timberwolves, his shot wasn't nowhere near as crispy as it is.
Yeah, and a lot of
I forget he was in Minnesota.
But and a lot of it too is I just don't think he would have really been able to strive in Minnesota. I think it was kind of an afterthought. But it'd just be really sad to kind of see them draft so wet, because they've done a great job. I mean, they had no picks this year, but you look over the last couple of years, the pieces that they've been able to pick up through the draft, and we're going even all the way back to Andrew Wiggins or whatever, they've done a great job. And just to see them kind of build this core, it's almost like what we're scared Philly will become. We're scared that Philly
process.
We're scared that Philly started the process and never completed it. So with Minnesota, we're kind of scared that they started building this really young core with Levine and Wiggins and Cat, and then they just don't do anything. They had the one chance with Jimmy Butler, because when Butler got there, it was like, okay, wow, this is it. This is finally, they've accelerated their development, and now this is a playoff team.
Yeah.
That falls apart. So your question is, what's better than that? Are they ready for another vet to come in, another all-star level vet to come in and take things to the next level? That's kind of where we're at right now with the Timberwolves. So, I
don't know. My opinion is they should have tried to sign, wasn't Rudy Gay a free agent?
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. They should have tried to sign somebody like him, to me, but they obviously missed out, because they just need that veteran player, bro. Like, who's a good veteran player that was a free agent? I'm trying to think.
There were a lot of names, like,
Jeff Green. They could have tried to sign a player like Jeff
Uncle Jeff.
Uncle Jeff.
There are a lot of great vet, players out there, and I agree.
Paul Millsap.
Yeah, that probably would have been the best pick, bro, because you've seen, like, even with the young Warriors team, how did they help themselves get there? They signed people like Barbosa. They signed people like what's another one?
Bringing in Iguodala later.
David West.
Yeah. Like Iguodala came there. Mm-hmm. He was a bit considered better because he played for the 76ers for a little bit. It's just players like
Nick
that.
Young.
Yeah. Well, no.
Yeah. But no, yeah. It's like I said, it's disappointing, and I don't want to just totally write them off because who knows? They could just straight up surprise us. You know, I mean, if you guys had to guess their seeding next season, it's gonna sound weird. Not even sound weird, but it's gonna sound pretty. What would you guys say Minnesota ranks next year when it all comes down to it?
15. No, I'm just playing. 12.
Think so?
You said 12. I'm saying 11.
Yeah. It's just going to be another uneventful season for him, man. And that's the tough thing that's the tough reality for a team that has a lot of young talent, a lot of great young pieces. So, yeah.
Yeah. I feel like the Kings are going to be better than them.
Yeah, which is horrible to say because the Kings have had less of a chance to be good the last couple of years than them. So.
Now, this is a good discussion. Who's been the worst organization in the NBA over the last 20 to 25 years? The Timberwolves or the Kings?
Sacramento.
They both suck.
Sacramento.
I'm gonna say Sacramento.
I'm just going off of Sacramento hasn't been in the playoffs since 2006.
That and I mean Minnesota's front office hasn't been horrible as far as getting guys. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like they've been able to get. They drafted Wiggins and they drafted Cat and they brought in Jimmy, but they made that team. They just didn't execute. That's what it's just a lot of it's a lack of execution. So yeah, I think Minnesota's been relatively better than them. So.
Yeah.
The main thing is Luke Walton still has a job. That's what makes them.
We ain't gonna talk about that. I don't know how he keep it. Well, he keeping his job because his dad Bill Walton, so he probably pulls some string.
He's riding that when he was the GOAT. He was the Warriors assistant coach.
How long he been coaching that? 3 years and they've been terrible.
He's been in Sacramento, I think, like 3 years now.
2 years in Sacramento. He had 1 year with the Lakers, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. Or you may be right. It may be. You're right.
It got to be 3.
Hey, he's been terrible either way. So who cares?
Very true. Very true. So yeah, I mean Minnesota, like I said, just really weird situation, and it's tough considering how much talent this team has right now. And like I said, it could end up being they did a great job drafting over the last couple of years, and they did everything a young team should do, and it just blows up. So
yeah, my only thing, like they did draft DeMarcus Cousins, the Kings. They did get Tyreek Evans. He was the rookie of the year. I don't know if you all know what that is.
Yeah.
I think he has some issues.
Yeah, he was cold though. People don't really realize they had. Who else did they have on their team?
Buddy Hield. They still got Buddy Hield.
Well, I'm talking about who they drafted like 10 years ago over there.
Oh.
That's what I can think of for real.
But a lot of draft, but what separates a lot of GMs, even when they're developing young teams, is some of the moves that they're able to make. Like not everybody's going to make Sam Presti moves, but you know, the young teams should be able to.
Isaiah Thomas, he was drafted.
Yeah, but even young teams can make big transactional moves to speed up their rebuild. So, and they just haven't done that. I think they sucked as far as rebuilding a team. So that's kind of how
terrible.
Yeah.
Basically, ever since Chris Webber and them boys left.
Yeah, it's been rough to see. So hopefully Minnesota shows some growth next season. But I don't really know what's going to end up happening with them at all. One of their
I had one more. I had one more thing. Like, who would you take in the next 10 years you think is going to be better, Anthony Edwards or LaMelo Ball? Since you're talking about the Wolves, I know Ty will take LaMelo.
We're going to talk about Charlotte right after this too. That's interesting. Okay. Great set.
Man.
I mean, it depends. I mean, over the next 10 years, I can't really pick one guy because I think both of their talent level is like off the chain, and their upside is ridiculous. Like if Anthony Edwards can turn into a good defender, he can get his efficiency up. You're talking about a guy who can be a scoring champion multiple times. I think he's going to be an MVP.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be a league MVP at some point. Same with LaMelo. So I can't really pick between those two at all.
Yeah.
He's 6'6" now.
Yeah.
My thing is he has comparisons of D Wade. He's just not the defensive player D Wade was, obviously. But he has,
No, he's got time too. He's got plenty of time.
That's what I'm saying. Like people be realizing, like I think people forget, like these dudes are rookies.
Mm-hmm.
Like not everybody is like a Kobe and all. Even Kobe, that's what people didn't realize with Kobe. He came in the league first. It took him a couple years to become Kobe. Yeah. Like not everybody's gonna go in their first year, especially he came out of high school, their first year and just be great. It took Kevin Durant probably a couple years to become Kevin Durant.
That's what's so crazy about Anthony Edwards. And let's just name other rookies who impressed last season. Anthony Edwards, LaMelo Ball. They didn't have a real offseason. They didn't have a summer league. But yeah, no, but your point is like they didn't have a summer league or a major offseason. They still came in, you know. So that's what's impressive about those guys. That's what you really have to admire and appreciate about them. So hopefully,
your boy from Kentucky. Was he a rookie or am I tripping?
Who we talking about? Oh, Halliburton? Not Halliburton. I said Halliburton. Why did I say
Halliburton? Unless it was his second year.
Quickly.
Yeah.
Emmanuel Quickly.
Yeah.
And he was just kind of
pretty good.
He was kind of just thrown into the rotation, and then he got some big playoff minutes and performed at a high level. So we'll see. Tyrese Maxey, yep. Peyton Pritchard showed some great stuff, you know. So yeah, we'll see what happens all in all Minnesota, but I think they're just a really weird team to gauge when you look at their current positioning and their current direction and everything they already have. So like I said, it'll be sad if this whole thing just falls apart because I don't think their front office has sucked just from the standpoint of building a young core. I think they just so much BS happened and then it just broke it up. But I think when they built that base of Andrew Wiggins and Cat, and when I look at that season where they were able to get Jimmy Butler and those guys, for it to never work out, I think it took away all faith I had in Minnesota doing anything impactful over the next 4 years.
It's really a shame though, bro, because like Karl-Anthony Towns is like just as talented as anybody in the league, and I'm afraid he's just going to be on bad teams and never really going to get to showcase his playoff ability.
I think sooner or later he's going to probably want to go and win. I think he's going to get tired of losing.
Yeah,
so he won't be there. He won't be there forever.
He's 7 feet. He's 7 foot, like 1 or 2 with a jumper in a post game. Like that's rare.
Underrated defender too. He's definitely one of the elite bigs in the NBA. Like he's definitely
40-inch vert too.
Yeah, but definitely one of the more elite bigs in the NBA. Blake mentioned it. He'll like I don't know when his contract is up. When does his contract up? Like,
because I think he just signed an extension not too long ago.
Yeah, so. He's either and I thing with him
is locked in right now.
Yeah, thing is I can even see him getting traded. I can see it happening because, like I said, you just don't know what they need to do next to try to make something happen differently. Because at some point in time, they're going to even just be sick of having just Karl-Anthony Towns sit there and just have nothing around them. So, yeah, I want to commend them for drafting over the last couple of years because I don't want to write off the great assets that they already have. I mentioned Jared Vanderbilt, Naz Reid, Jaden McDaniels showed a bunch of potential as an elite defender and all of that. Even Jalen Noel coming off the bench. Malik Beasley, I mean, he didn't really develop there as a young guy, but for him to come in and be an effective player, when he is, on the court and all of that, so I can't crap on their front office too much. They're just in a really weird position, in a really weird spot. So yeah, Carl mentioned LaMelo Ball, and we did a post about the Hornets today, where I think Terry Rozier held like a training camp, not like a training camp, but like a team scrimmage with the entire Hornets roster, pretty much. They're a team, Blake. If you had to grade the Hornets offseason, even considering draft picks, what would you give them? Because I mean, personally, I think they did an amazing job with some of the pieces they were able to add. How would you grade the Charlotte Hornets offseason when you look at everything they've done, both from a transactional standpoint and through the draft?
Yeah, I give them an A-. Mm-hmm. You get Kelly Oubre, good scorer, either come off the bench or start. I think he'll probably be starting. The draft, you did very well in the draft. Mm-hmm. Got some nice young pieces to go along with what you already have. Mm-hmm. I can see them. I don't really see them in the play-in this season, but I can see them getting a solid. I think I can see them getting a solid playoff spot. I think if everything goes well.
You're saying they're better than just a playing team.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I am. Yeah.
Okay, I got you. I thought we win, so I thought you were saying they weren't gonna make it at all. I'm like, oh.
Oh no. They're better than they're better than a playing team. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they could be. I think they can be a 6 or 7 seed. That's as much I'm gonna give them. But they did draft well, and I would give them like an A- 2 or a B+, like Blake said, because they got Booknight in the draft. I think he's gonna be pretty solid. Mm-hmm. And who else did they get? I know
Kai Jones.
Yeah, Kai Jones. He has length to block some shots, bro. They'll be all right.
They need to go ahead and sign Jello.
I would love to see that.
They are. Yeah, there's been reports like that.
It's got to happen. I saw him in a commercial, so I'm like, they're definitely going to sign him. But no, yeah.
It was Wendy's. The
Wendy's commercial, yeah. But Blake, you mentioned Kelly Oubre, and this was a team that really didn't show any stellar stuff defensively, nor did they have a bunch of stellar individual defenders on that team. So you get Kelly Oubre, you get one of the elite. Like people forget, I think he had I never thought he really fit in Golden State. Like even when that move happened that brought him there, it just didn't make any sense. But at that point, everything was just kind of insurance, not even insurance, but everything was kind of just to try to make up for not having Klay Thompson. Like it just seemed like they were doing a bunch of stuff to try to put as much around Curry as possible.
Just filling holes.
They tried to make him a stretch shooter. He's not no stretch shooter.
Like some guys, to me, just aren't built for that Warriors system. Like Andrew Wiggins, I love him, but I think he's got a lot of talent, but I just don't think he's fit for that Golden State Warriors offensive system to be like a catch and shoot.
They need him to be a Harrison Barnes type of player.
And that's not what he is. You know what I mean? Yeah. But no, like, Oubre, I think it's a great change of scenery for him. This, like I said, this team could use a great individual defender, and he is that. Like I said, just look at that season he had in Phoenix before he got moved away. He was shooting it. He was shooting it at a career high. He was defending at a high level, scoring it at a career high level too. So I think he just had a bad season in between with Golden State, and I think he's going to be super, super bad.
Kelly Oubre.
Yeah. Even picking up, like, how you guys think James Bouknight's rookie year is going to go? Because I think his fit with LaMelo and Rozier is going to be pretty interesting, considering they're really packed up on scoring guards.
Yeah, up and down. I think it's going to be up and down because he's not going to be he's not going to be able to get the ball as much as he probably wants to, and they're probably going to throw him in games probably that they kind of might be getting blown out in. So he might not feel like he's going to get a rhythm. Mm-hmm. So it might be a little tough for his first year until he gets footing.
I think they'll bring him off the bench. I think they'll bring him off the bench a little bit. I mean, I don't think he's just gonna be like a legit bench player. He'll get some 15, 17 minutes a game. Yeah. I think that's realistic.
Yeah, it's kind of his replacement. It's kind of like Devontae Graham. Like that's kind of what they just
And those guys, I mean, coexisted together. You know what I'm saying? And we've seen, I mean, we also seen situations where rookies, like I remember saying, I thought Anthony Edwards was going to struggle because he was going into a situation where there were three guys who were just going to be prioritized offensively, and he's over him. And that was Karl-Anthony Towns, Malik Beasley, and D'Angelo Russell. And I know he had better games when Russell wasn't there, but he still found ways to be effective as a scorer even when Russell was there. So we could see it work with Bouknight. I think one of y'all mentioned Devontae Graham. Having court time with LaMelo and with Terry Rozier, a lot of times that was kind of their closing lineup. They would have ball out there with Rozier and with Devontae Graham. So I think they can make it. I think they can make it work with Bouknight. I think Bouknight's a good enough shooter to get into positions where he can kind of come off the ball and knock down shots off the catch. I think his plus minus is going to be pretty good. I mean, as you said, great score. I think there are questions about what he's going to bring to the table defensively, but you've got guys to kind of hide. I don't think you got guys to hide that. You know what I mean? I don't think anybody's asking Bouknight to come in and be an elite level defender. A thing we don't really talk about with Charlotte too is the point that Gordon Hayward is there. And when Gordon Hayward was healthy, he was very effective and another guy who can defend. So when we talk about them getting beaten to play in, I mean, it happened, but they were about 20 points a game short by not having Gordon Hayward there. So if he's able to be healthy next season, I think it's a major net benefit.
I forgot about him. Bro. They were like 6 seed, like set in stone. They were like 5 and 6 games above, and they lost like 8 games in a row.
Yep. Oh. Very true. Exactly. Yeah. So that I think his presence is going to be a major difference maker. And I think, Carl, you mentioned Kai Jones too. Another criticism about this team is that they don't have size. Now you get Kai Jones, you get a guy. I mean, it's going to kind of be a work in progress with them. We see with a lot of young big men, it kind of takes a little bit of time for them to develop, especially a rim protecting kind. We talk about them fouling a lot and just getting used to being an NBA defender, as a big man, switching out on the quicker guard. He's never guarded guards like Kyrie Irving or whatever and picking up situations, Steph Curry and all of that. So it'll be a work in progress. I don't want to say he's going to solve all their size issues because there can be times in the court where he can give you, he can kind of give you a loss. Maybe he gets into situations where he's fouling a lot or just making a lot of bad defensive decisions or whatever. But, if he's able to get that sufficient amount of time to develop, and if he shows great stuff on that end, then hell yeah, he's going to be a major asset for them on the rebounding front and on the pick and roll front. Because right now this team didn't have that dimension to their offense. You didn't really want to run a bunch of pick and rolls with Cody Zeller or PJ Washington.
Cody Zeller.
Yeah.
Cody Zeller.
Yeah, but boy, where he went? No, that's his brother. Went to UNC.
Cody went to Indiana, and Cody I think is now in Portland.
His brother went to UNC.
Yeah, and Cody went to.
What was his brother's name?
Cody Zeller and who's the other Zeller brother?
I'm gonna look it up. My bad.
Cody Zeller brother.
Because I'm thinking the brothers that went to USC. I'm thinking
Tyler Zeller.
Tyler Zeller.
Yeah.
I was thinking of Hansborough, the Hansborough brothers. That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Oh, they played hard, bro. I respect that game.
Yeah.
Them some tough dudes.
They were. But no, yeah, I mean, I think now you can add, there's another dimension added to your offense just through one draft pick. You know, now you have a guy LaMelo can run. I mean, we haven't seen LaMelo getting a lot of pick and roll. That's one thing we didn't see was a lot of pick and roll from LaMelo in his rookie year. And for him to be a dude that we think is going to be an elite point guard in this league.
Oh, he will.
Huh?
I said, oh, he will. The way he was playing basketball, like basically thinking like everybody on the court is a little kid, and I'm like sunning you. That's how you play. Like he was like actually enjoying himself playing.
That's how he's supposed to play.
Yeah, I know. That's the crazy thing about not everybody can play that way though, because they just don't have the skill for it.
Yeah, he was having fun out there, you know. But like I said, like now when you have a guy like Kai Jones, you can run those pick and rolls now. And like I said, that's just not something we've seen. We haven't even seen a lot of that from Ja. Like give Ja, Steve, we're gonna see it now. Like give Ja pick and roll big guy, assists may go up a little bit more. So same with LaMelo, give him a pick and roll big, and we may see him get within that like 9, maybe 10 or 10 a game range or whatever.
Yeah. I think we forgetting how good, I don't know if we can talk about how good Ja is too. Like he was kind of asked to like have a week, because me and Ty used to talk about all the time, like we need him to score more.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's that 18 points for him, how talented he is, he needs to be at like 25. And versus the Warriors in the playoffs a little bit, he showed he can score 30 if you need him to.
Yeah, true. Very true. And yeah, I mean same thing, you know, but you know, circling it back, you know, I think that they made a lot of really, you know, really good under the radar moves. Like a lot of people don't really talk about what Charlotte just was able to do, but I think they made themselves much better. And like I said, I mean, if they're able to stay healthy, you're now talking about a starting lineup of Terry Rozier's, you know, LaMelo Ball, PJ Washington, Gordon. That's a squad right there. You know, but people don't appreciate Terry Rozier's ability to score the basketballs. He's one of the better scoring point guards.
Miles Bridges need to get some time too.
Who's that?
Miles Bridges.
Yeah, Miles Bridges, best rapper in the NBA.
He now honestly, I wouldn't be shocked. Like I could see him if they give him the touches, he can be like a candidate for most improved.
Me too.
He probably won't get it. But he can be a candidate. That's all I'm saying.
And he's shown amazing levels of growth year in and year out. Like his 3-point shooting has gotten better over the last couple of years. You know, the athleticism is there. We want to continue to see what he does defensively. They've got a legitimate squad. So I think they're gonna be one of the more fun teams to watch. And I think, like I said, just from a basketball standpoint, they just added a ton of different dimensions. And you know, losing Devontae Graham obviously kind of frees up some backcourt ability for LaMelo. But you know, having James Bouknight kind of picks up a little bit of that as well. So
let me ask you, you've seen you've seen the Anthony Edwards dunk of the year last year, but you also seen Miles Bridges dunk of the year. They was neck and neck. Which one you think was better?
Anthony Edwards.
Anthony Edwards is better.
Okay, yeah. It's just the fact that Miles Bridges caught like his face.
Yeah.
But Anthony Edwards jumped over him, basically.
Yeah, Anthony Edwards was the best dunk last year. He did. But yeah, no, I think Charlotte, you know, definitely has to get some love for what they're able to do. You know, even just the head coaching thing, right? Like James Borrego was almost coach of the year last season. Wasn't he like a top 3 candidate, or am I wrong?
Oh yeah, he for sure.
It was him.
He was.
I think it was him, Budenholzer, and
Monty Williams.
Okay, right. So yeah, I mean,
Tom Thibodeau.
I'm sorry.
Tom Thibodeau.
Yeah, Thibodeau. Yeah.
I don't think was Borrego a candidate.
Yeah, he was. It was Thibodeau, Borrego, and Monty.
That's who it was. Yeah, yeah, that's right. But yeah, man, I think. You know, they deserve a lot of attention. I don't know how many nationally televised games they're going to get, but they're going to be one of the more they're going to have a bunch of highlights. They better have a bunch of ESPN and TNT games.
I know how many we have.
We're not talking about that right now, though.
Okay, my bad.
We're not talking.
I'm just saying, we got like out of the 80 games.
Y'all don't need them. Y'all don't need them.
We win in 70 games, by the way. I'm putting it out there.
You think y'all win in 70?
It's going to be hilarious.
We gonna win.
It's going to be hilarious.
65 games.
That's not hard to believe at all. That's not hard to believe. You guys gotta stay healthy.
It's gonna be hilarious when y'all lose first round. It's gonna be hilarious when y'all lose first round.
I don't know if that's happening.
Man, I tell you, I almost threw a party when they lost this past playoffs.
Yeah, you got lucky.
Yeah.
Man, I was so happy.
Do you remember when Jay Crowder ran off the court? Bro, I was crying.
Why did he, bro? When he salsa and then ran, that was so funny.
We were on FaceTime. I was crying, bro. That was hilarious.
Why did he just run like that?
I don't know. But yeah, Charlotte. I give Charlotte like I give them like a minus B plus for what they were able to do this offseason. Like I said, not a bunch of they didn't have that major free agent signing, but they made a lot of great additions to what they already had. Again, it doesn't make them a championship contending team. I don't even know if it makes them a team that gets into the second round, but it makes them a team that's going to be well above 500 this coming season. Especially, you never know. Well, especially if they're able to stay healthy. So I'm excited to see what that Hornets team is able to do. Final team I want to talk about. They're in a really weird spot, and I watched a lot of different analytical videos about them. Realistically, the Wizards. What do you think is the ceiling for this team for this coming season?
I think it's Blake. I'm not even trying to.
We're not doing it today. We're not.
It was Blake, bro. I think I think you all can make the play in all season. Yeah. That's probably. I can see a play in.
Yeah, because I've either heard one or two things about the Wizards. I've either heard there's the thing where they say outside of Beal, everybody on that team needs to be be in China or something like that. Like there's this, you know what I mean? But it doesn't make sense because it doesn't make sense because it's like this. I mean, you look at them, a lot of really solid pieces, but it just kind of seems like it's Bradley Beal and a bunch of role players. You know what I'm saying? And it definitely kind of depends on how they choose. What's able to happen with Kyle Kuzma. I think he's kind of to me, everything kind of revolves around what he's able to do. We know Beal's going to be 30-something a game. We know what he's going to bring to the table. But Kuzma is a major core piece you have to talk about because him as a second option is going to be very, very, very important. We can't see. I mean, who's the second best player on the team? You can talk about Dinwiddie. You know what I'm saying? But I think Kuzma is going to be huge. You look at his body type and his upside and all of that. And just what we expected to see from him over the last couple of years that we just haven't got. I think he's going to be a major factor to kind of make this whole thing come together for the Wizards. But again, weird spot that they're in. You've gone through John Wall and Russell Westbrook over the last 2 seasons to now come to a point where it is Bradley Beal and a bunch of role players. And I don't know if we want to call Dinwiddie a role player. Is he categorized as that? He's
a step above a role player. He's pretty good.
No, he's not a role player.
He's like below all-star, but above role.
Yeah. But I think there's in a really weird spot, Montrezl
Harrell on there too. Don't forget about Montrezl.
That's true. But if you look at their struggles last season, it was defense, and then also just consistent offense, being able to keep leads late in games. Like it was that's what a lot of their big struggles came from. But there's a change in coaching too. Wes Unseld Jr. is there for him. So they're just one kind of like Minnesota. They're a really, really weird team to gauge. Even with Beal, like I said it before, they're not in a situation to where they're gonna do a lot. So where does this put Bradley Beal over the year after that? He's committed to staying, but it's kind of like this. It's just not going to happen with this team. And I don't want to write him off because there's a good amount of talent here. But like I said, for the Wizards to try to make Beal happy, there's always that question: did they do what they needed to do? And it's just not that. You kind of,
I've said for Beal, he should want to get traded, but I understand why he want to stay also. Is because if he takes them deep into the playoffs or maybe even the finals one day, he can have that proud thing saying, I took this team when we sucked. I took them from the bottom and built them up.
Yeah.
Players have pride about that. That's kind of, I think, what Dame felt at first. I don't think he feels that way anymore. I think he wants to get traded eventually. Mm-hmm. But I think that's what Bradley Beal is feeling.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's also too the money incentive too. I think he'll be up for one of the biggest contracts in the NBA
ever.
Yeah, ever. If he
has to be.
Yeah, 50 mil will do anything for you.
Yeah. Do you guys think we can get a third 30+ point per game season from Beal?
Yeah.
That'll be insane. If you think about that, is next level elite stuff.
Yeah, it is. But I ask you this: is it the same if they don't make the playoffs?
No.
Yeah, it's the same. Because
it's insane. It's insane, but at the same time, you score 30 to make the playoffs. You don't score 30 not to make it.
Yeah, but But
that's not on him though. I'm not saying obviously that's not on him. I'm just saying
that's the whole empty stats thing. first of all, like they're not but there's not a lot of players who average 30 straight for 3 consecutive seasons. There's like a small sect of NBA players who can do that.
That's true.
So, Michael Jordan.
They're right.
But I'm be honest, isn't that crazy how we say he can average 30, but we still kind of think he would be a second player on the championship team?
That is crazy.
That's kind of messed up if you think about it.
It is. You know, I want to see him do it because from a bragging standpoint, like even if they don't make the playoffs, which I think they're going to do in the Eastern Conference, I think they're going to make the playoffs, but in the Eastern Conference, or for them, it's just kind of like just making the playoffs isn't what you're looking to do if you really want to retain a guy like Beal. You know what I'm saying? But no, like I want to see him put that 30 game up 3 seasons in a row because that's like. That's unheard of.
He'd be flirting with it. He'd be right there.
Because it's been a legit 30 a game the last 2 years on healthy seasons too, you know, so on high usage and all of that. So yeah, I mean, if they really were to gauge, how would you grade Washington's offseason? You know, obviously there's the Westbrook overhaul, but how would you kind of grade what they're able to do? Like I said, it's tough because of the direction they're trying to go in, or we don't even know what the direction is, but how would you grade that Washington offseason with the moves they're able to make?
A C.
Decent.
Yeah.
Yeah, C.
Because it's just like
D plus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't know about F.
I was just playing C.
Yeah.
But it's
I give him a C. It wasn't good. It wasn't good. So
yeah. This would look good if it was, and obviously this wouldn't be able to happen, but this would look much better if it was around two all-stars and then these guys were like the supporting cast. That's what it looked really good, but that's just not the case.
We ain't getting that though.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? You know, if Spencer Dinwiddie's healthy, and I don't really know what his timetable, his return is, but if he's healthy, he's a dude who's liable to get 25 a game.
He's not coming back. He's not coming back straight out the gate.
I'm not sure what his timeline is just yet. But Spencer Dinwiddie, because if you look at him the last couple of years, like he's kind of been pushed to the side a little bit. Like even in Brooklyn when they got Kyrie and KD, I remember Carl always talking about what's going to happen with Dinwiddie now. We kind of wanted to see Dinwiddie continue to go.
Yeah, man. I at the end of the day, I still don't. I get what Brooklyn did. I probably would have done the same thing, but I just don't like how they gave up on Karis LeVert and Spencer Dinwiddie.
Yeah.
I mean, even I was, yeah. I mean, but my thing too was kind of building off my point. I think the grass was kind of greener for both of them because I didn't want to see them become rotation guys behind Kevin Durant and Kyrie. You know?
Yeah, I didn't.
Because I think, like I said, I think you look at Dinwiddie's upward projection over the last couple of years, or upward trajectory over the last couple of years. We know like he can get to 25 a game at some point, and maybe this is the season for him. You know, who knows? Maybe he can surprise a lot of people and become an all-star because his role is probably the best it's ever been now, you know, playing alongside with Beal, you know, being prioritized much higher on the offensive end. So I think that's an interesting storyline for that Wizards team is having Dinwiddie.
Let me ask you, what you think the over-under is for like how many points he's going to average? I think it's probably 23, 22.
It's around
I see him 22.
Yeah, it's around
22.
Yeah. It's around that. It's around that for me, you know, and like I said, who knows? What if Kuzma takes a leap and becomes 20 a game, which he has more than enough potential to.
Yeah.
You know?
I can see him 18 and 20.
And to me, 18 would be a disappointment because we know he can put up 18. I want to see him since his role. I mean, he's talked about. He said my inconsistency has been due to inconsistent role. Okay, well now you're in Washington where you have a consistent role. You better be over 8.
Let's see what you do.
If he doesn't do it now, then there's going to be more trash talk.
Yes, that's very true. So, like I said, I don't know if these moves put them anywhere to where they're 100% sure they're going to keep Beal happy to be a Wizard for the coming seasons. But what I do know is this has given a lot of guys this opportunity in this trade, this Westbrook overhaul, and not even just the Westbrook thing, but you can talk about them bringing in Aaron Holiday too. Like this gives a lot of these guys a chance to continue to grow their games. Like I said, I've always wanted to see Dinwiddie get out of Brooklyn and get from behind, you know, Kyrie and KD and finally take that leap that we knew him to be. We want Dinwiddie to become an all-star. Same with Kyle Kuzma. Aaron Holiday is a young guard who has a lot of potential that we saw in Indiana. Minutes were staggered. He was in the games here and there, and then other games he wouldn't be in the lineup or whatever. A lot of guys now have that opportunity to shine. Montrezl Harrell too. You know, 6th man of the year before, a really disappointing whack season after taking less money to come to play for the Lakers. Now you're back here, so we'll see what happens. But I think while I'm not sure about where this puts them as far as winning and everything, I think it puts them into a position where they have a lot of guys who can kind of create a career revival for themselves a little bit. I don't know if it's that's the case for Dinwiddie, but that's definitely the case for Kyle Kuzma and Montrezl Harrell and Aaron Holiday. Not really a revival for Aaron Holiday, but a level of growth for him that we still want to be able to see. So, yeah.
Y'all don't look that bad. Honestly, you should feel confident in the team, at least making the play-in or the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like, I can see you all making the seven seed.
Yeah.
Let's play in. So.
Y'all won't be terrible. So.
Yeah. And there's, like I said, Wes Unseld being there. A lot of my issues as a Wizards fan were with Scott Brooks too. So Wes Unseld being there.
He out of there. You good.
So having Wes Unseld there, we know having a coach there can change everything. We've seen that happen before. So hopefully that does a lot for him. But I'm interested to see what they're able to put together. Like I said, doesn't make me confident that Beal's happy to be a Wizard, but we'll see. I want to see how those guys grow in for sure. So
y'all best case scenario is getting like the 5th seed, which probably is too high, and getting the first round matchup that'll make help you all win like a first round, because if you 7th, 8th seed, you're not getting no first round.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Y'all best hope is getting it as high as possible, like the 5th seed, and facing like a Knicks team that you probably will lose to, but you can make it serious out of it.
Very true. Very true. If you get to that middle spot for sure. Like
middle spot is a little softer. You can
especially in the East. We can definitely, you're not beating the top 3, so we can definitely compete with it also depends on the Ben Simmons. I may sound crazy for saying this, but it depends on what the Simmons trade package is in the return, because no one's gonna give up an all-star for Ben Simmons. If the Sixers get a bunch of role players for Ben Simmons, I'm not scared of playing Philly in the first round if I'm the Wizards. I'm not terrified.
Joel, he'd be playing good, but something would be nagging him on his body.
And then just not the supporting cast that you really, really need,
Burger boy.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens. But I think all in all, I would give the Wizards a C as far as offseason goes. And I think they have a good enough roster to get to the playoffs. But my excitement isn't for them to get into the playoffs. I just want to see better direction from them. And I do want to see growth from certain individual players like your Dinwiddies and like your Kuzmas and like your Trezes and like your Aaron Holidays of the world. And also Rui Hachimura, who we talked about a couple episodes ago too. We're going to go ahead actually end on that note, and then
Baby Keem.
Yeah. Good
time. What time is it?
10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Oh, it's right at.
Yep. Huh? It's right at 10. Yeah.
Bro, my voice just cracked. Son.
Yeah, it's 10:02.
Yeah. Bro, it feel. Oh, okay. I thought it was later.
About to pass out over 10 o'clock.
I thought it was later.
Dude said 10 o'clock. He said, "Ooh." Oh,
like he woke up. Like he just woke
up. No, because I was there. I was like, I wonder what time it was. And then you said 10. I'm like, hey, it's only 10. Yeah. I thought we had been going for at least. Wow.
It's an hour. We've been
been about 40-some minutes, hour. But great episode, fellas. Really? Don't forget to like and subscribe if you're watching.
Share with your friends.
Share it.
YouTube. Get us up. We're at 126. Get us to 200.
Get us to 200.
On Twitter too, we had 184 on Twitter. That's 200.
No IG on there. We had 3,500. We need to get to 4,000.
Yes, we do.
So easy.
Y'all know the deal. All the links are in the bio. Y'all see the links, hit them, and all of that good stuff. Thank you for 500 plus downloads.
And don't hit them. Don't just hit them. Press them.
Press them hard.
Punch them.
Yeah.
Punch them.
Don't punch it. I don't want you to hurt your phone.
Yeah.
But just press
punch your phone.
Yeah. That's all we got for you guys. And like I said, don't forget to like, subscribe, download, leave a review, all of that good stuff. And we'll see you guys on Monday morning.
Yeah.
Yep.
I keep
morning.
Yeah.
You too. See y'all then.